happened after the storm left the state.
7 of these deaths have been related to storm cleanup, including people falling from roofs or being hit by limbs or debris. So please be very careful when you're working on your house or property.
The Democratic governor urging people to stay hydrated and cool while they work as well. And you're listening to USA Radio News.
When thinking about life insurance, my accident reinforced you never know what tomorrow might bring. That's why I reached out to AccuQuote. AccuQuote helps people find a life insurance policy that meets their needs. Since 1986, they've helped millions of folks save up to 60% on their life insurance by comparing the rates and features of dozens of top-rated life insurance products. A healthy 50-year-old non-smoker can buy $500,000 of 10-year level term for less than $45 a month. A 60-year-old under $120 a month. Longer or permanent terms are available. Even if you already own life insurance, you really need to check out my friends at AccuQuote. Don't worry about health issues. Remember, they help me. As a pastor, I'm concerned about your soul and helping you to make sure your family is taken care of. Life insurance is more affordable now than ever, so don't make them wish you'd made that call. 877-437-4781. Call now, 877-437-4781. 877-437-4781.
Rates, policy forms, and availability vary by state.
Small business owners taking an optimistic tone as we hear from USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes in Washington.
The people who own the nation's small businesses seem to feel pretty good about the future right now, as the Small Business Optimism Index for August is slightly above its 46-year average, though the Uncertainty Index did increase to its second highest reading of the past 3 years.
White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows says the prospect of having a coronavirus vaccine by Election Day is exciting to him.
I'm very optimistic that we will have something by the end of October. So if you're looking at the end of October as Election Day, I would agree with the president that the progress to date has been extremely encouraging.
Meadows talking to reporters outside the White House. He also insisted any suggestion that the president is pressuring the FDA or others when it comes to getting a vaccine just isn't true. USA Radio News.
Working from home? I'm Chad Dodd, veterinarian and consultant to Limp Bells. Here are some tips for keeping your dog fit while staying at home. Find 15 minutes twice a day and walk your pet at a decent pace around your place. Play hide and seek by hiding some kibble or favorite toys and letting your dog find them. If you have stairs and your dog is mobile, walk up and down twice a day for 5 to 10 minutes. Or better yet, try a power walk on your terrace or backyard for some fresh air. There are more helpful pet care tips at youmove.com, spelled youmove.com.
Amid election security concerns, Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg is attempting to normalize the possibility of a delayed outcome of the upcoming presidential election. Facebook rolling out new measures which include flagging posts by candidates who claim premature victory.
One of the things that I think we and other media need to start doing is preparing the American people that there's nothing illegitimate about this election taking additional days or even weeks to make sure that all of the votes are counted. In fact, that might be important to make sure that this is a legitimate and fair election.
Zuckerberg continues on HBO by saying,
we're going to do a bunch of different messaging around that just to make sure that people know that that's normal. So if one of the candidates in any of the races claims victory before there's a consensus result, then we're going to add some informational context to that post directly, saying that there's no consensus result yet.
New wildfires in California over the Labor Day weekend saw a dramatic airlift of more than 200 people trapped by flames and ended with the state's largest utility turning off power to over 172,000 customers to try to prevent its power lines from sparking more fires. This fire season, a record 2 million acres have burned in fires in California. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
What's the Story? My name is Janice Hermson, and I am your host. Thank you for joining us today. You joined us, didn't you?
Amateur at work. Right?
It's okay. No, it's just fine. I have been guilty myself, so I am far from criticizing anyone. Welcome, April. I see you there.
Hello, Jan.
Nice to see you. And Doug.
Oh, thank you. What do you mean, Jan? How about the rest of us?
All right. Well, we air from the America Matters studios. If you're watching, you can see our awesome studio here. And we actually have people behind us every now and then now that the mall is open again, which is nice. And we are in Northern Nevada on KCKQ, 1180 AM. And we live stream on YouTube at LeRue Press. That's LeRuePress. And on Facebook on the What's the Story page. Hopefully you can join us there sometime and you get to see us all. Oh my. And I would prefer to be just radio, but you know, what can I tell you? We are who we are, right?
Oh, this is cool. I like everything.
Of course you do, Doug. That's that amiable personality, right?
It is. He just slides right in between the smallest cracks.
It's awesome, though. It really is awesome. I want to also thank our sponsors, Susie Hussner, for the music she provides as we came in. If you were listening, that is she. Visit SusieHussner.com and to Light Black Productions, who produce that music. And they are at lightblackproductions.com. Try and make it easy for you. Their name is their website, right?
I think that Backbone song
I love that song.
You know what? It could be the theme of many businesses and many efforts. It's awesome.
Yeah, it did get used in, I don't remember, and shame on me for not remembering what it was used on, but it was used on a promotion shortly after we decided to use it. So it was great to hear, though, and I think Susie's got a great future. So
Yeah, awesome stuff. Glad we got him.
I know. It was wonderful. So we're going to talk about perspective, point of view. It's going to be kind of an overall theme for the day. I think it'll be an interesting, it's my perspective anyway. I think it'll be interesting. Oh, is that a perspective or a point of view? Oh, what do you think, April? Perspective or point of view?
That's a tricky one.
I know.
They're slightly different.
They are, yes.
Almost synonymous.
Isn't it a point of view when you go against your perspective?
Perhaps. It also
That's what
depends on what reference and how you're referencing it. Is it in publishing? Is it in life? How are you talking about that? So
The answer is yes.
all of the above, right?
Right.
That's correct. So we're going to do that. We're having a book blitz today. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, easy for me to say.
There used to be a cool beer named Blatz with a pull-off ring top thing, right?
I must have been channeling you.
Yeah, that's what you made me think of. Blatz beer.
Do they still make it?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, what was it? What did Milwaukee? What was their beer?
Well, they have Milwaukee's Finest.
It was Schlitz.
And
Schlitz, that's what it
they
was.
also have Old Milwaukee NA, right?
Oh,
Non-alcoholic.
Ask me how I
It
know.
doesn't get any better than that.
Okay.
Right?
I got you. I won't ask you how you know.
Right.
All right. And then, so we're going to have our book blitz. That will also be centered around perspective because you guys come up with the craziest stuff when I give you a topic instead of just saying, pick a book. I love it when I say, okay, we're going to talk about perspective. And then you go somewhere where I have no idea how you got there. So I'll be anxious to hear what you have to say.
That's because we're all about a half a bubble off.
Not me and April. Hi, April.
So you got to be a little off to be good.
Yeah, that's true.
I think so.
Test the waters.
Then we'll talk in our current events, Blue Moon. Anybody know about the Blue Moon?
Yes.
Oh, well, he must have looked it up, right? You think he knew about that before my post?
Well, no, I did know about it.
Okay.
But that's only half of it. About a year ago, I did look it up. So,
You mean the Blue Moon, the proper name?
And you still remember it after a year?
Go figure, huh?
Oh, he's an author. He can remember stuff for a year.
That's right. That's right. And then we will. And I'm counting on you to give us something very cool for the perspectives in life. I think that you'll come up with something good.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
always.
you're not prepared?
My whole life is one big perspective, right?
Oh, yeah. So apparently I caught him off guard. He didn't prepare.
No, that is not true.
See, pulled it out of you.
However, that was a space that I hadn't yet filled up.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll help you fill it.
Yeah, we'll fill it.
Yeah, we'll fill it up. But Doug always will jump in and fill it up. Because April's already gone by that time. Sometimes. I can't even say that. Yeah. I don't even know. All right. And then, Doug, you ready to give us some updates on some fire stuff?
Oh, man.
Can you believe it?
Oh, no, I can't.
It's crazy.
I'll bet you I spent 2 hours this morning reading, so much so my eyes were going around in circles. What else can you say? But it's terrible.
Did they catch fire?
I'm sorry?
Did they catch fire?
That's right. No, but they were smoking.
There you go. Oh.
It's ridiculous. This morning was ridiculous. That was unhealthy.
This morning?
It was
The
off
air
the
this
charts.
morning.
It was in the 400s.
Yeah, it
as far as
was
air
off the
quality.
scale according to news
Really?
programs.
I
Yes.
had no idea.
Yeah, it was over
so-
500.
Wow. Well, I went to my car and then I went to the office and went inside, so I probably didn't notice that.
I went outside to smoke a cigar and took a couple of breaths and walked back in. Didn't have to smoke.
Wait a minute. Oh, no, there's a lead in. That's his perspective on clean air is cigar smoking.
There you
There
go.
was at least 40 cigarettes out there.
That was coronavirus defense, right? It doesn't
There you
live
go.
if you breathe through fire.
And then
So
we
they
also,
say.
I don't want to forget about, we got Reno Gal says too, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
And I have some perspective.
Oh, there you go.
No
See?
way.
I think this was an easy mark on this one, right?
We all hit it.
We did. All right. Well, you're listening to What's the Story. We're here every week on Tuesday, and I hope you'll stay with us. We're going to take a little break here and then come back with some perspective or maybe point of view.
Hey, all you entrepreneurs out there. Whether you have a small business or work from home, LeRue Press offers a virtual office and business address for all your business needs. Located at 280 Gregg Street, Suite 10, LeRue Press is your personal assistant for friendly all-day service. Need a conference room to meet with clients? You got it. With LeRue Press, you also get phone answering service, mail forwarding, package pickup, and even help branding your business. Call LeRue Press at 849-3814 or go online to lrpnv.com.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
As humans, we ask ourselves all kinds of questions. But what if we were forced to ask ourselves a question every day that affected the outcome of the most basic things, the most important things in our lives? The question is, what is your sexual orientation or gender identity? And the answer is the difference between keeping your job or getting fired. The answer is the difference between staying in your home or getting evicted. The answer is the difference between receiving medical treatment or not. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against people based on their answer to this question. LGBT Americans have the right to say I do, but they don't have the same basic rights as everyone else. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting, a teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Wake up, the sun below. Got another road to sow. Let the fire feel the hope swelling up from the depths of my soul.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson. I'm here with Ed Knoll. What's his name over there? Doug Ashby. I do that every time.
Mr. Fire.
Mr. Fire himself. And April Kempler. Sorry, Doug. I just like to give you a bad time.
Oh, no. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I love Mr. Fire.
I know. I think that'll be his nickname, right?
I think we can go with that. MF, Mr.
And what
Fire.
did John James call you? What was you were the, what was that?
Velvet Fall.
We forgot about
Right.
that, didn't we?
Trust me, I didn't.
That is so funny.
I have a moniker.
Velvet Fog and Mr. Fire.
So that doesn't really match me, I think, the Velvet Fog.
Maybe it's your voice?
Yeah, he liked his voice. He liked his voice. That was it. Yeah, so our topic today is perspective and point of view. And they're really, at least in writing, they're different things. In life, we're going to talk about that in the next segment. But April, did you kind of review any of that? And do you want to talk about it, or you want me to go?
Of course, I can talk about it.
Sure,
So
I knew
there
you
are two
could.
different. If you're writing, if you're a writer in publishing, point of view is different from perspective, because point of view is your narrator. What type of narrator do you have? Are you telling the story in the first person? Are you telling it in the second person, which is actually not a very commonly used point of view? Second,
Right.
It would be you did this, you did that, the whole book is you. So that's very unusual. I did come across one book with the second person point of view. And then, of course, third person, he said, she said, we all said. So,
But it's also third person, and it could be limited, where that narrator doesn't know everything, only has a limited point of view, or they're omniscient, where they know all.
yes, I tend to like the limited. It's better. But
Why do you like that one better? What makes you like that better?
I think because they're going to find out at the same time
via
reader's
the
gonna
story.
find out. Instead of being I know I'm holding something back and I'm going to surprise you at the end. That kind of thing.
Right.
I don't know if I'm right or wrong on that. It's just a preference.
Right. No, that's really interesting, and I just had some experience with all of this. I don't write a lot of fiction, so but when I'm editing, I help authors with what they're doing, and in this one fiction book that we were doing, we kind of took some different points of view with two different characters. So we're going to see how that plays out.
It's hard not to get. So if the moderator's not omnipotent, right? You don't know what they say or what they don't say may or may not matter. Where if someone's omnipotent, the narrator, everything they say has significance. What they don't know matters.
I think that makes sense. What do you think, April?
Yes.
Yes, I love it.
Oh,
Yes.
it was me, so just agree.
I think it makes sense too.
Right.
So, and then perspective is how the character is perceiving what's happening, how they're processing what's happening in the story.
Right. Or choosing a character to tell the story, as opposed to having that, narrator that's limited or whatever.
So the writers complicate those terms, right? It's real easy to look at life and separate them.
Yeah,
I think.
and again, I have to be honest and say that I don't write a lot of fiction. I have written fiction, and when I've done it, I pretty much just go. I mean, I don't think that I really thought about, well, what point of view am I going to take until after I got the story out of me, right? I didn't think about, what point of view am I didn't get real technical. And I think that every writer is different in whether or not they look at those, perspectives.
Yeah. But something that
So I don't know. Never mind. I'm going to say they're faking a perspective when they write.
They're faking a perspective. What does that mean?
So to me, a perspective is about like how you grow up, right? So me growing up in Bethel, Ohio, suburbia, right? Rural suburbia, Cincinnati, how I grew up, how my parents viewed things.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
That is my perspective on life and
I see what you're
growing,
saying.
where writers are creating characters, so they're creating perspective for folks.
Right. They're creating what their morals are.
Right. Their perspective.
Right. Their perspective.
What they want it to be.
Right. Well, right.
Which is, I think, why they have so much fun, right?
Potentially in that space, you can create Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, they can create anything.
Right.
And they can be anyone. But then the challenge comes in as to does this conflict with what that person would do? Would that person really do that? I had an author that wrote a thriller, and he had his character kill somebody off, and I said, that just doesn't even make sense. That person would not do that, right? They just
Mrs. Polifax.
Exactly. But it was too early in the book, and as you continue, because he argued with me, and as you continued, then you saw that, okay, here are those other pieces of his personality and everything else that make that something that he would do. So it's like judging people, right? When you're editing that, you're like having to judge, well, would that person really do that? Because it's not real. So how do you judge that? And the author can say anything, right? They would.
Did you find that he put it in the story in the wrong place? Because
No.
I was going to say
it was
when
structured that way.
When somebody says something that's not realistic, you think, "Oh man, this is silly," and it kind of adds a pall over the next few chapters that you read. So
it could have, but after reading the whole thing.
So when something's silly in a book, it's likely true. Right? So that endears me more. It's the exact opposite of your reaction.
Right. Well, and that, again, that's perspective.
No, that was two different things. Something that's silly does carry because it puts a smile on your face and you want to hear, well, I guess it depends on your personality, but something that doesn't make sense, you go, oh, stop it, and
well, to me, if it doesn't make sense and it's in a book, it's in there because it does. It has to be. If it doesn't make sense, the editor would have got rid of it. Well, if it's in there and it doesn't make sense to me, it has value.
Do you feel that way about the internet? If it's on the internet, it's got to be true.
No, but it has value. It has value.
And also, there's what they call a contract between the writer and the reader. So, like to Ed's point, if it doesn't make sense, it shouldn't be in there because you have a contract with your reader that you're going to make this make sense.
I'd like to go down that road a little bit. Contract with the reader.
Oh, I like that. No, I think that's great.
So it's cool if you can form one, right? I just think it's more, I'm going to say author speak than reality.
Well, it's an implied, it's an implied contract. It's what the authors feel they owe to their readers. The reader of Mrs. Polifax, right? She has to deliver what your expectation is, and she feels she has a contract with you, the author, not Mrs. Polifax, obviously.
So if you break that contract, you have your character do something out of line that is going to go against the grain of the reader. That'll have them put your book down. And a bad review.
A bad review. You really worry about that, right?
So I don't know. To me, that's all financial. That's an all financial gain thing. That has nothing to do with the story or characters.
Oh, I don't think so. I disagree.
I really like that narrative that April said about the contract. Janice and I talked about this quite a bit when she was editing the book, and I said the one thing that was overall in my mind was, why am I going to make somebody, or why am I going to? Is somebody going to want to read this?
To read that.
And then if they do from one chapter to the next, what have I written that's going to make them want to go on to the next chapter?
It's a really important point.
Exactly, and I think that is a contract with your reader.
Because if you get to the end of a chapter and it doesn't end in a way that entices you in some way, either that, ooh, I want to know what's next, or wow, this is powerful, I need to see what else is in here, right?
Right, but to me, that's just failing to create a good product.
That's not the way that a writer looks at it.
I know, but I'm just telling you how I look at it.
No, that's how you create a good product. That's not how you create failure. That's how you create a good one. Well, who sits down to say, I'm going to write a failure here?
So when you write, shouldn't you write the book for yourself and then let the editor do it for people?
No.
You're welcome to try.
No. So it's a whole place I wouldn't go because it's a quagmire that I'm not comfortable with.
I won't say that a lot of people don't write the book for themselves. They do. Then they walk in and they say, I want this to be published. Who's your audience? Oh, I have no clue. I just wrote that for myself.
There's
so I get
much
that.
thought. There's so much thought before you even get that thing
But then you may end up rewriting that whole book because your audience is really different, or you don't have an audience, right? You're you.
Right.
And Jen, we haven't talked about the book proposal. I mean, that's about 30 pages of proposing why this book should be written and published in the first place. And many people don't even have that book written. They just do the proposal, then get accepted, and then they have to go and make that book.
You should see his face.
Well, I think
it's priceless. You'll have to look at the. You're not on Facebook.
I can kind of see his face.
All right. This is What's the Story. We've been talking point of view and perspective, and that will be the topic for the day. We'll be right back.
Businesses, writers, check this out. Go to lrpnv.com to get your printing, publishing, and professional services today. Need a virtual office? A place to receive and forward your mail with professional address and suite number for your business? Someone to answer your telephones? Want to rent a conference room for only $15 an hour? What about that book you've been wanting to have printed? LRP Printing and Business Center can do it for you, and they have a professional assistant on site daily, Monday through Friday. Just call 775-356-1004. Need copies, business cards, invoices, books, booklets, or graphic design to help brand you or your business? Just call 775-356-1004 or go to lrpnv.com. With a great selection of new and used books, you can get your printing done and a book to entertain you in your time off. And don't forget, you could have your business sponsoring the Book Hound radio show, just like Andrew Martoni, author of Little Man on the Map, does every week. Just go to lrpnv.com. That's lrpnv.com or call 775-356-1004. They'll provide solutions for your business and writing projects.
Ready for a live game of Clue? For nearly 30 years, Funtime Theaters held private and monthly dinner murder mysteries. Each night is different, and each event includes dinner and a show. You're the detective, and your job is to figure out who did what to who and why. At the end of the night, a super sleuth and not so super sleuth are awarded prizes. This is a great event for a birthday or holiday party and team building events for your office. Visit funtimetheater.com to make your reservations and use promo code RADIO for $5 off each admission.
I'm Andrew Saul, Commissioner of Social Security. I'm here to warn you about telephone scammers pretending to be government employees. Some of these scammers may say threatening things like you will be arrested if you don't make payments or provide personal information. Do not fall for these tricks. These calls are not from us. Real Social Security employees will never threaten you for information or money. If you receive a call like this, hang up. Never give the caller your personal information, like your Social Security number or bank account, or send money in any form, cash, gift cards, wire transfers, or prepaid debit cards. Report the call to our law enforcement arm, the Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov. Share this information with your friends and family.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
GreatBasinHighway.com, Great Basin Highway magazine, radio show. Visit GreatBasinHighway.com and sign up for a free online subscription to our magazine.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Oh, yeah, it was like lightning. Everybody was frightening. And the music was soothing. And they all started grooving. And the man at the back said, everyone attack, and it turned into a ballroom blitz. And the girl in the corner said, fire on the one, it'll turn into a ballroom blitz. Ballroom blitz. Ballroom blitz. Ballroom blitz. Ballroom blitz.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? And this is our Book Hound segment, and that is the Book Blitz. And I'm very excited today to be talking about perspective and point of view. And I asked my co-hosts here if they would choose books that kind of were in that topic. So this will be very interesting to see what we come up with. So, Ed, I'm going to have you go first.
I came up with a book I read some time ago, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, by Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, and his humor is along my lines and a bit contrary. So instead of going glass half full, he went half empty. And as skilled as an individual as he is, he calls success luck.
He does, yeah.
And in that, those luck moments that he has, I call magic, right? But his perspective is one of making fun of himself as a comedian and coming at it, hey, look what I did just by chance.
You know, it's interesting. I've read some of his books, and I often don't agree with his perspective.
Right.
And I think, well, but I still like what he writes. So, you know, you don't have to agree to enjoy something like that.
And it is kind of, you know, it's rare when I find things that run counter to how I think and I still enjoy them.
Exactly. I'm with you.
I need to do that more, right? That's me needing to open up my mind.
Yeah, and I think that's everybody needing to be able to read something that you don't agree with.
But he has that kind of going happy-go-lucky, life is easy kind of thing, and here he is a multimillionaire.
I know.
So
we'd love that magic, right?
We need that perspective.
We do. Very good. All right. So that was Scott Adams, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big. So that's Ed's recommendation. And April, what you got for us?
Well, what I have is a book. It's from the Elements of Fiction Writing, and it is called Characters and Viewpoints.
Ah, so you took it literally.
So I love this series. I have a number of these books. They talk about inventing characters, and then also the different writing styles that you may want to take, as we just talked about, first person, third person, omniscient versus third person limited point of view. And so this book tells you how to do it and how to build your characters, where to place them, and then all the nitty gritty of it, different characters and all their points of view. It's really important. In fact, the series, I started reading the series when I was writing Joe's memoir, and you think, well, what does a fiction writing tool have to do with a memoir? But I used a lot of these elements when piecing together Joe's narrative. So it was very helpful to me, and I like this book.
Excellent. And that's Characters and Viewpoint. And what's the author's name?
Orson Scott Card.
C-A-R-D?
Orson Scott Card.
Okay. Perfect.
There you
All
go.
right. There you have it. Hopefully I got the last name correctly. And now.
Like a card, C-A-R-D.
Yep, that's what I wrote. Wasn't sure if you said card or cart or.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. All right. Perfect. I got it. All right. Doug, what have you for us?
Oh, it's hard to I'll just get into it. It's not hard. It's easy. This was matter of fact, it's September 1st, 2020, and the name of it is Common Sense: A 2020 Perspective. But you would think 2020 meant this year, but it's 20/20, as in eyesight. And I thought, that's kind of neat. And basically, he starts out, and this is a narrative off of his website. It says the United States is at a turning point in 2020. The political culture is polarized, and people are not satisfied with much of anything that's going on in the country. We have forsaken some fundamental things that our founding fathers understood to be worthy of sacrifice for promise of a new nation. Thomas Paine wrote one of those fundamentals in 1776. The framed expectations to the start of a new nation in his original book, Common Sense. And 244 years later, here we are again, and the enemy is within us. And basically what he is saying is there's no such thing as common sense.
And who wrote it?
Ben Franklin.
Pardon?
Ben Franklin, right there.
What, Common Sense?
Yeah.
No, actually, no, that was Thomas Paine that wrote it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No, but
Thomas
this
Paine.
particular book, are you talking about
This chap says 244 years earlier, here we are again, but this time the enemy within. We lost sight of common sense. Throughout human history, no one has actually defined the standard for what common sense should be. Well, boy, that's a true statement. Without standards, the meaning and importance of ideology or values is lost over time, especially over 244 years. Perspective identifies four fundamental elements that comprise what common sense is and starts by answering 2 points. How do we know what common sense is, and how do we know if we're using it? Boy, and I think those are really 2-pointed things, because I think that's what we lack today is common sense.
Well, it's that perspective, right?
Wow.
So for me,
that was really deep.
to get down deep, right?
So is this the book Common Sense by Thomas Paine?
No, it's Jonathan Henderson's.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought it was Rush Limbaugh or somebody, right?
No, it's his view of this nation and how after 244 years we've really lost our way.
So is this just like a paragraph or a blog or something, or is this an actual book?
No, it's an actual book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Common Sense, a 2020 Perspective by Jonathan Henderson. Got it.
What do you think?
So
sounds interesting.
Right, these perspective for folks like you and I, right, who grew up in traditional families, right? Traditional families give us our perspective, and when traditional families are 30% of the whole, of course, our values go away, right? Because there are all kinds of family units, households, couples, same sex, family units, non-traditional places to raise children with a single dad or a dad, mom, and siblings, maybe grandparents, right? Those types of living situations are getting rarer and rarer, and with it, our perspective.
Right. Well, I couldn't agree more with that. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Or just depends on your perspective?
So it's it's changing, and it's changing away from the way I know. Now, whether that's good or bad, right, depends on your point of view.
Well, I think what's interesting is you look and you say, if I am where I don't want to be, you have to say, well, what got me here, and what path do I take to get back to where I want to be? And I think that's exactly what you're talking about. If as a nation, if we're really conflicted on where we are and what we're doing, why don't we look at history and say what worked for us?
So, but for you and me, and into this perspective, so, right, I've, had multiple lives, right? I've lived different things, different businesses. And a year ago, I got on myself going, man, when were you the best? When were you at your best? And I went back to that point in time, and I've kind of recreated it. What if your past wasn't better? What if your past is worse? What if I have to create my positive future instead of look back and find it and rekindle it? What if you never had any success? So you can't go back. You can only go forward. And that's what people are facing.
And that's all about perspective.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you the book that I chose is by Matt Taibbi. I hope I'm not massacring his name. And it's called Hate, Inc. Why Today's Media Makes Us Despise One Another. And in this characteristically turbocharged new book, celebrated Rolling Stone journalist Matt Taibbi provides an insider's guide to the variety of ways today's mainstream media tells us lies. Part tirade, part confessional, it reveals that what most people think of us as, quote, the news, is in fact a twisted wing of the entertainment business. In the internet age, the press have mastered the art of monetizing anger, paranoia, and distrust. Taibbi, who has spent much of his career covering elections in which this kind of manipulative activity is most egregious, provides a rich taxonomic survey of American political journalism's dirty tricks. Heading into a 2020 election season that promises to be a great Giza pyramid complex of invective, I love all the words, and digital ugliness, Hate Inc., which is INC, will be an invaluable antidote to the hidden poisons dished up by those we rely on to tell us what is happening in the world. Boy, is that written by a journalist or what?
I want to have a beer with that guy. Right? So, I mean, that guy's an interesting dude. But he's right.
Isn't that, yeah,
he's
but it's
totally accurate.
But he knows what goes on, right?
Yeah.
And we all know that that's the premise, right? We all know that. It just is.
I think the media is making everybody hate the media at this point.
It's true.
That's
it's true.
They
They've hurt themselves a lot, and I don't think they realized they were going to do that.
Yep. They
and
have
now
no common sense.
No, they have no common sense. Well done. All right, and I'll add mine onto Facebook so that you guys know what we recommended. And that was our book hound segment, and we're going to get ready for Reno Gal Says. She's got some perspective. I can't wait to hear.
Okay.
All right. All right, we'll be right back. You're listening to What's the Story? I'm Janice Rumson.
At A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, we've been accomplishing happy feet for over 30 years.
We offer a various range of shoe styles and sizes for both men and women. From all-season shoes and orthotics to work boots and safety shoes, our professional and reliable staff possesses the knowledge to help you find the proper shoes to fit your needs. Hard to fit? Hard to find?
A Proper Fit Footwear is here to give our customers happy feet. We make people aware of potential foot problems as we're sizing their feet, suggesting the right arch support, and guiding them to the proper shoes for their needs.
Stop by A Proper Fit Footwear at 4001 South Virginia Street in the Reno Town Mall today, and allow the owner Mike Jones and our fabulous staff to find the perfect pair of shoes tailored to your specific needs.
A Proper Fit Footwear in the Reno Town Mall, the home of happy feet, where comfort and your feet meet.
We're talking to Victor from Precision Diamonds. Victor, we have talked before about the fact that you started 27 years ago in Park Lane Mall in a little kiosk. You are now in your own building across the street from the convention center. You've had to do something right.
Well, you know, as we like to think that hard work, you like to think that it does pay off. But you get lucky along the way. You worked hard, you pay attention, and you get yourself ready. So hopefully when the right opportunity comes up to buy a beautiful building like we just have, you triple your size, you cut your overhead by half, and now you know that you're more competitive than ever.
Plus, you've had a chance to use all of the things you learned from that little kiosk in Park Lane Mall.
Oh, man, along the way, I'll tell you, as far as writing that lease check every month, boy, there were times that it was really hard to do. You know, so you learn from your landlords, and it was really great feeling to say goodbye to the landlord. This has allowed us to truly become your local jeweler, your personal shopper.
Thank you, Victor. Precision Diamonds, your local jeweler across from the convention center.
Matthew.
Huh? Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I just need you to listen to me.
I know that a lot of times, Mom, it might not seem like I'm listening to you, but I am. I hear you. And what you say really does matter to me.
I mean, let's be honest. No kid likes rules, but I get why we have them. I hear you, and I know it's because you care.
All the talks we've had over the years, including what you've told me about not using alcohol and other drugs, they stick with me. And believe it or not, they really do make a difference, especially at times that matter most.
Hey, want a drink?
No thanks, I'm good. So thank you, Dad, for talking and preparing me for what's ahead.
Thanks, Mom, for never giving up and always being my biggest fan.
Thank you for letting me know what you expect, so I can try to meet your expectations.
Thank you for talking.
For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Now she's gone like a little...
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
Welcome back, and we are glad that you have joined us. It is time for Reno Gal Says. That's with April Kempler. She's going to give us some perspective. I'm going to hand this off to you, April.
Well, thank you, Jan. My topic today, actually, I've been thinking about it all week, even before I knew about perspective. But it kind of goes along with what Doug and Ed have both been talking about in their book Blitz picks too. So we'll get to that in a moment. But a lot of times when, because we're in this situation where our homes have become our sanctuaries by force in a way. I've been forced to look at my home more and actually look at some of the things I wanted to get done here. And very often when I go outside running my errands, just, those necessary grocery runs or the mail or whatever it is, and I come back in my home, I have this feeling of relief. And it's like, I'm safe. And so it kind of prompted me to think about how people these days can get more joy in their home and how they can feel more at peace in their home. And I had thought I'd written a blog about this subject, but apparently I didn't, because I didn't find it anywhere. So I guess I get to write a blog about this. There's a Danish word. It's called hygge, and it means cozy or charming.
I think I saw something where you used that. I'm pretty sure
special.
I did.
Yeah, I think it was a year ago, maybe more. I talked about the Danish lifestyle and how there's say that the people in Denmark have this most peaceful, joyful life, and it's not about material well-being. It's a perspective. It's a place of your heart, a place of your mind, but it's your surroundings. And so to achieve this cozy, charming, special lifestyle, all you have to do, you don't need to spend a lot of money, you don't need to spend any money. It's really just making your surroundings special to you, that make you have that feeling, that feeling inside that is just joy. And so it could be about really anything. It could be an extraordinary experience, it could be an ordinary experience, but it could be a moment. But it's a beautiful word. I don't know that we have one in English that describes this. But one of the things that we can do in our home to achieve this is to declutter our area. So we could go through room by room, toss, donate, or sell even. I haven't tried selling, but there's all kinds of there's next door neighbor, I think, or something, and there's all kinds of things out there now that's new, not just eBay. So a lot of the things you can do too is even your refrigerator, and your pantry. If there's something expired, get rid of it. Clear out all this extra stuff. And then there's tons of home organization things out there on YouTube. You can look that up. The other thing is you can surround yourself with color, scent, lighting, the ambiance of the home. The hygge touches on the five senses. The sight, what do we see? What do we hear? What do we taste? What do we smell? I think there's another one I'm forgetting. But anyway, there's another one in there. I'm just kind of forgetting that one. But moving right along. The last area I wanted to talk about making your home an area of peace, is sort of what Ed was talking about. It's making your family unit, a place of peace, your relationships, having good relationships with those in your own home. And so something Paul and I have been talking about was building up our family with our choice of words. So, Paul's a writer. He writes his blog. I'm a so-called writer. So words are very important to us. And so one of the things you can do is learn to control your feelings, to keep those things in check, to have a realistic view of matter. So this brings me back to perspective, point of view. You have to see it for, what it is. Don't exaggerate the other person's actions. Look at this realistically. So you also have to search for the right words. If you're a parent and you're overreacting to what your kid is doing, you're just going to enforce in them, you're going to reinforce negative thinking in them, and it's not going to go well. So we need to not use words. This is like psychology 101. We can't say always, and we can't say never, because that's not true. It's not always and it's not never. But it always seems, see, I just said it. It just seems like that's what we go for in our language. So we need to really have a well thought out approach. This is not easy. I'm a reactionary person, and this takes a lot of thought. This takes a lot of getting your feelings under control, because what we talk about is usually what's inside us, deep inside our feelings. It comes out, and so people can see how you really feel. So our speech reflects our thoughts, our desires, and our attitudes. So, and our tone. There's a new thing, a new gizmo on Amazon, and it tells you your tone of voice. So I thought this was like such a great, useful thing for me, because I often don't know how I'm talking. And Paul will say, well, you just said that in this way. I said, I don't sound anything like that. And he's like, yes, you did. And so we'll have this argument about the way or the tone I said something in. And this little gizmo tells you how you sound. So you can actually look back and go, oh, I did sound kind of judgmental, or I did sound accusatory, or maybe, So I think that's really useful, because our tone is so important in what we're saying to each other.
That is so funny, that if I can interject, if you're done, I don't want to interrupt.
Of course. Sorry, I'm trying to breathe and let other people talk.
Well, it's so funny because my father was a very harsh man, and he did not see himself that way at all. And it wasn't until when he spoke, it was harsh. My friends were afraid to come over. I mean, I had one girlfriend that if she called and my dad answered, she'd hang up. She was so afraid of him. But he really wasn't that fierce, but he appeared to be. So I don't remember which one of our family members did it, but it was when tape recorders and things had just come out, and they recorded him, and then they played it back to him. And he was like, who is that? He said, that's not me. I don't talk like that.
And I bet you,
he's talking like
bet
that.
you dimes to dollars he's softer than his dad. Right? That's the way it kind of works.
Yeah, I don't know. My grandpa was dead before I will.
Yeah,
very
that's the
shortly
way
after.
I am. I can be harsh, but I'm softer than my dad. Right?
Yeah, it was.
I think I come from a pretty just, kind of a demanding kind of family. Like, they just demand things, and they're not really asking them. So it's, that's your perspective. That's my family culture. So
that's why Paul tells you, hey man, you're not going to be so demanding with me.
Yeah. Well, we're two people. I think we're very much alike, which is good or bad. I don't know.
So I want to go back to your perspectives on the creating the environment, right?
Yes. Yeah. Because that's what.
So why can't, to me, right, get all that, but to me, that's just symptoms of what's in your head, right? You can get a renovation loan for yourself and fix yourself regardless of environment. You create that environment in yourself.
Yes.
And then it flows out.
Your surroundings.
But we got to quit, in my opinion, in life, we got to quit. Blah, blah, blah. We have to quit addressing symptoms and deal with core issues. And the core issues are people don't think ahead. People don't think, and they need to have a clue.
But I think really, if you think about what she's saying, she's kind of saying that what you do with yoga, probably with meditation, with all those things, is creating an environment in self.
No, I
right?
get that. I kind of get it.
So that's, where she's talking about it in terms, well, you were talking about it in terms of coming into your home and feeling safe.
Yes.
It's kind of the same thing. Now you have to translate that to making yourself feel safe no matter where you are.
That's right. Exactly. And psychologically speaking, colors evoke feelings.
Yeah, but you start inside and work out. To me, you start it yourself and move that way. You don't go out in the world and then come back
But
in.
sometimes you have to take a different perspective.
No, I get it. Well, obviously, April and I have proven over the years our perspectives are different.
It all meshes together.
Right.
You work on your surroundings and you work on yourself at the same. This is invoking that feeling, that hue.
So it's kind of triggering it. Would be a today word, right? Trigger.
Yeah. Right. So in yoga, they have the misting and the music and the smell. I've been where I did it for stretching. I don't do yoga, but they spray a scent, and so it's evoking this meditative, peaceful place. And so you can do that with your own environment. It doesn't, not necessarily that everybody's cozy is something different. So it could be hot tea and a book. It could be a blanket that you particularly love. It could be this music that you love. It's not anything.
For John, if you're listening, for John, it's his remote.
So I get that. Even if I'm not using it, I want to know where it is.
That's right. That's his comfort.
It is. I see it. There it is.
Yeah.
Can I ask just kind of a generic question?
Quickly, because we have less than a minute.
Oh, this is going to be real quick. Do you think that a good, happy home is biblical based?
Can be, but that's only one of many options.
Right.
You think
the principles found therein work, then you apply them. And a lot of our culture is based on those, those principles.
I know a lot of biblical homes that aren't smooth.
Right.
That's the problem. Right.
Exactly.
So that's the deal.
Yeah, that's the problem with that concept.
Well, that's your perspective of the Bible, isn't it?
There you go.
And what team you're batting for.
April, that was awesome. That was really
Thank
good.
You.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you so
enjoyed
much.
that.
I enjoyed sharing it.
Yes. Now, are you staying with us this time? I have to ask because I made an assumption last time.
I would love to. I don't know if I can.
All right. Well, we'll see if you surprise us. All right.
Okay. But I always listen.
I know. We appreciate that.
Have a lemon popper.
Social Security is with you through life's journey from birth to retirement. As your life changes year to year, so do your needs. For over 80 years, Social Security has helped to meet your needs and is committed to improving access to the services that make a difference in your life. Today, you can verify your earnings, estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, manage your benefits, and even change your address, all from the comfort of your home. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
I know I need to pay attention to my health, but I just can't seem to find the time. Between rushing to work and taking care of the kids, there's not much time left over for me. So I decided to start small by eating more fruits and vegetables and being more active. And then I got the family to make some changes too. We started by keeping a bowl of fresh fruit on the counter, and I limit the amount of sweet snacks I keep in the house. I've also found some creative ways to add more vegetables to our meals. We're taking more walks, and on the weekends, we head down to the pool at the rec center. It doesn't happen every day, but it does happen. You don't have to change your entire life to be healthier. Just make some simple changes and include your family. You'll see how easy and fun it can be.
You can make a difference. Eat smart, play hard. And when you do, your kids will too. A challenge from USDA.
This is America Matters Media Radio, heard worldwide on the web at americamatters.us and on KCKQ 1180 AM, Reno.
USA Radio News with Tim Berg.
The police chief of Rochester, New York, resigned as criticism mounted over his handling of the death of Daniel Prude, a black man who died after police placed a mesh hood over his head and pushed him into the street.
I want to assure our Rochester community that the Rochester Police Department will continue to serve and protect our residents and our neighborhoods.
Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren. President Trump on the campaign trail, this stop in Jupiter, Florida, where President Trump has some big news for the Sunshine State.
I will sign a presidential order extending the moratorium on offshore drilling on Florida's Gulf Coast and expanding it to Florida's Atlantic coast as well as the coasts of Georgia and South Carolina.
President Trump now holding a rally in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Hi, I'm Wayne LeRue, Mr. Health, and I want all of my millions of fans to be healthy and live a long life so we can save America, American exceptionalism, and capitalism. So, are you in front of a mirror? Did you know that in 1973, a Harvard doctor discovered the greatest single risk factor indicator for heart disease is a crease in one or both earlobes? Strauss Heart Drops has sold more than 1 million bottles over the past 40 years, helping countless people with cholesterol, diabetes, angina, and blocked or restricted blood flow. The best proven indicator of clogged arteries is the earlobe crease, nature's sign of trouble with plaque buildup. Do you have a crease in one or both earlobes? Heart attack and stroke are our #1 killers. Women now suffer 51% of heart attacks. Strauss Heart Drops don't interfere with any prescription drugs. Strauss Naturals guarantees your satisfaction, so you can't go wrong. It's the painless, natural, economical way to clear arteries, vessels, veins, and capillaries. And guess who has the crease in both ears? Yours truly. And guess who's now taking Strauss Heart Drops? Wayne Root. Order Strauss Heart Drops at thepowermall.com. That's thepowermall.com. Thepowermall.com.
As the election heads into the home stretch, Facebook is offering its users an interesting proposition. USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes explains from Washington.
Facebook paying some users to deactivate their accounts. As many as 400,000 people will be invited to join a study, and those who opt in can get as much as $120. In exchange, Facebook and Instagram accounts must be deactivated later this month for either a week to 6 weeks, and the goal is to better understand how the sites impact political attitudes and behavior during the election.
With just 55 days until the election, the Biden campaign called a lid Tuesday morning, meaning there will be no new news from the Democratic nominee for the remainder of the day. Democratic nominee Joe Biden spent his Labor Day in Pennsylvania, where he took questions from AFL-CIO members. Biden also doing some local interviews. This is USA Radio News.
Working from home? I'm Chad Dodd, veterinarian and consultant to Limp Bells. Here are some tips for keeping your dog fit while staying at home. Find 15 minutes twice a day and walk your pet at a decent pace around your place. Play hide and seek by hiding some kibble or favorite toys and letting your dog find them. If you have stairs and your dog is mobile, walk up and down twice a day for 5 to 10 minutes. Or better yet, try a power walk on your terrace or backyard for some fresh air. There are more helpful pet care tips at youmove.com, spelled YOUMove.com.
Amazon is banning a potentially dangerous item on its website, and USA Radio Network's John Hunt has the story.
Amazon has banned foreign sales of seeds in the U.S. after Americans across the country received suspicious packages of seeds, many originating in China earlier this summer. Under the online retailer's new policy, as of September 3rd, overseas seed vendors are prohibited from importing plant or seed products into the U.S. Also, non-residents of the U.S. are banned from bringing such seeds into the country. Sellers who don't comply with the restrictions could have their Amazon accounts shut down.
At least 51 people were shot, 10 fatally, over the Labor Day weekend in Chicago. As of 10 p.m. on Monday night, police told ABC7 that there were at least 51 shooting victims and 10 deaths over the weekend. Among the fatalities was an 8-year-old girl who was shot and killed Monday while riding in an SUV on Chicago's south side. At least 495 people have been killed so far in 2020, and about 2,900 people have been shot overall in the city. To Trekkies, today is a very special day, as we hear from USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes.
Today is Star Trek Day. It's the 54th anniversary of the original Star Trek series debut. Cast members from different eras of the show will be taking part in 3 hours worth of virtual panels on the Star Trek Day website.
For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters Media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Now she's gone like a riddle in a song, all the way to MIA, where she thinks that she belongs. Poof, now she's gone like a riddle in a song, all the way to MIA, where she thinks that she belongs.
Welcome back. This is the second hour of What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson, and I'm here with the whole crew. We're all here.
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm happy to see you back, April. And we're going to talk a little bit of current events. We're going to talk about the blue moon. So you guys said you know what the blue moon is? Yes? Doug knows what the blue moon is. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it like I don't know, there's a formal definition of it.
I don't know
what
if
it
there's
is.
a formal
There is.
definition.
Yeah, it's something they write about in songs, right?
Yep.
Well, some of the questions, it says, if you need a refresher, this is from the Old Farmer's Almanac.
Ooh, I looked at it. I looked at it today.
Yeah. Need a refresher on what a blue moon actually is? We get a lot of questions about that term, including, is the blue moon a scientific term used in astronomy? Did this term originate with Native American folklore like a number of the other full moon names? And does a blue moon really look blue?
No.
And
yes,
all
yes,
of
no.
those, nope, all of those answers are
no.
No, and no.
Well, I got 1/3 right.
The modern understanding of blue moon only took off in the 80s. It was a result of a much earlier mistake printed in 1946 issue of Sky and Telescope magazine. And since then, the term has gone viral in the media. Well, it didn't go viral until social media.
Viral.
Yeah,
What was the name of that magazine? Sky and what?
Sky and Telescope magazine.
So that may be one magazine I've never heard of, right? I mean, I haven't seen it in a doctor's office, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I'm not even really going to go into, because I can get all technical on you about what the actual term, it just has to do with when it occurs, right? So this particular blue moon is occurring on October 31st, on Halloween.
Oh, cool.
So that is very cool, especially this year since the kids are probably not going to be doing any trick-or-treating. I saw on Nextdoor that they wanted to have everybody decorate their house so the kids can like drive by and wave and see all the interesting things. It's something, I guess.
Debbie's church had something that was called
Easy for him to say.
No, right.
It was
okay, so quit acting like me.
It was called
this blue moon
trunk.
thing, we have that expression, right? Once in a blue moon.
Yes.
So is it a rare occurrence?
Every third year or something.
It's basically, here we go, seasonal blue moon. Occurs within an astronomical season, one season defined by the day. See, this gets so technical that it's really hard.
You never get the exact answer.
If a season instead has 4 full moons, this is like except on the third Tuesday of the week, right?
And not to mention, it's not a super moon, right?
No.
We've had like more super moons than I thought even possible.
Yes.
Right, we had like 4 this year.
Yeah, so it says the next seasonal blue moon will occur on August 22nd, 2021, as the third full moon in a series of 4 within that season.
There you go,
Are
simple
kidding?
as that.
As simple as that, sure.
It's not really a season, though. It's almost a year.
I know.
Well, it is.
Maybe within a year.
Yeah, the next calendrical, that's a word I've never seen before, blue moon, will happen on August 30th, 2023, as the second full moon in that month.
So it was conical?
No, calendrical.
No,
Like
calendrical. I
calendar.
thought it was conical.
No, calendrical.
Calendrical. I don't know that word either, but
How
it just
often
sounds
does
like
a blue moon occur? Most months have 1 full moon, not 2. Since, see, they just get so
the deal,
crazy. They
that's,
can't answer a question.
that's it. If there's 2 full moons in a month, it's the second one.
There you go. All right. Oh, perfect. There you go. I'm glad you could get it.
That's what it was. I knew what it was all along. I just forgot.
Third Tuesday of the week.
Yeah. So if there's 2 blue moons in a month, it's the second one is the blue moon.
Yeah. Since the moon's period of phases is 29 and a half days, while months usually have 30 or 31, it's obvious that if a full moon lands on the first day of any month except February, it will repeat again at the end.
Blue moon.
Blue moon. There you go. All right, now we know what a blue moon is.
Kind of.
Kind of. So this won't happen again.
Until August.
No, it's going to...
October 31st and then
So
August.
it says 2 blue moons in a single year. But how often do we have 2 blue moons in a single year?
Last year there was one.
2018. No, 18.
Oh, 18.
When there were blue moons in both January and March and no full moon in February. This won't happen again until 2037, when we'll again have another blue moon in both January and March. So there you go. It's a little bit of a rarity.
Something to look forward to.
So don't you think it's funny when we take life, right, or take nature, the world, and we put our artificial calendar on it,
Right.
and our artificial, right? The world's doing what
Yeah.
it does. We're just
Yeah,
trying
we're
to
just-
make it fit in our space.
Exactly. All right, my second is an announcement about a current event on Saturday, October 3rd, 2020. Our community is going to show our support for the brave law enforcement officers by putting together a car parade. They're going to meet at 1:30 in the parking lot of Reno High School, 395 Booth Street. So that's October 3rd. And they have a parade that's going to start at 2 p.m. They want you to bring flags, make signs in support of officers, whatever you can think of, and be very visible. They apparently had one back in July 22nd and had over 100 cars. So if you want more information about that event, it is on Nextdoor in most things, I think, if you belong to Nextdoor. And if not, you're welcome to email me at lrp@lrpnv.com, and we'll be happy to tell you any of the info. So there you go. Why are you chuckling? So that's for the police officers. They're supporting them. They want to show their support. And I think it's cool. Do it in the cars. Nobody can... I don't know if you have to wear a mask or not, but, just be there. Do your thing.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. I thought it was very nice. So whenever I see an announcement like that I can share, I'm happy to do it. It's what we're about for What's the Story. We want to share that kind of thing, good things that are happening out there. So we've got fire updates coming up with Mr. Doug Ashby, our, what do we call him? Mr. Fire. Mr. Fire is going to be on. All right, we'll be right back. This is What's the Story.
Hey, all you entrepreneurs out there. Whether you have a small business or work from home, LeRue Press offers a virtual office and business address for all your business needs. Located at 280 Gregg Street, Suite 10, LeRue Press is your personal assistant for friendly all-day service. Need a conference room to meet with clients? You got it. With LeRue Press, you also get phone answering service, mail forwarding, package pickup, and even help branding your business. Call LeRue Press at 849-3814 or go online to lrpnv.com.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin, UVB rays burn, and both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't need sunscreen on a cloudy day? Wrong. 80% of UV rays still get through the haze. Only use sunscreen at the beach? Nope. Anytime you're outside, UV rays attack the skin, so you need protection. And you have to reapply sunscreen every 2 hours. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Over the years, you've brought them into your home. You were prescribed opioids after the C-section, when Dad injured his back, when your basketball star tore his ACL. Opioids helped with the pain, and you held on to them just in case. But did you know holding on to unused opioids puts your family at risk? Opioids are powerful pain-reducing prescription medicines, but most people who are prescribed opioids don't finish their prescriptions. So millions of unused opioids are sitting in homes across the country, and And tragically, more than 100 Americans die every day from overdoses involving opioids. What can you do to protect your family? Remove the risk of unused opioids from your home. Pills, patches, or syrups in drawers, purses, and cabinets, anywhere they might be hiding. To find out how to dispose of them properly, visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions, don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Unable to listen to the whole show? A recording of today's program will be available later today. Visit americamatters.us and click on the podcast link. Now, back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson. We have been talking a lot about perspectives, gave you some current events in the last segment, and now we're going to have Mr. Fire, Doug Ashby, give us his perspective. He was with the fire service for a long
my entire life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
not your entire life.
well-
Come on. You took a little bit of time out to get married.
That's
and
true. Yeah.
do some other things.
Yeah. Well, 35 years of it.
There
so,
you go.
yeah.
There you go.
But then, with my oldest boy being on the fire service, it's as if I haven't left. Just kind of a continuation on,
Right.
which is kind of neat for, you keep up with the way things are going.
Right.
But to talk about our present dilemma, here in Reno, we're complaining because it's smoky. Now, can you imagine if you were actually had a house in the path of a fire, how terrible that would be?
I can.
It kind of, you talk about perspectives, yeah. A couple things. We, continue to talk about fires, and one of the things that I dislike is that every fire that you come upon, they say, oh my gosh, it's 14,000 acres or 26,000. To normal people, me included, it doesn't mean a thing.
Right.
So I want to kind of put that in perspective. A section of land is 640 acres. That's 1 mile by 1 mile. So it's a mile square. So now when you talk, that's 640 acres. Now put that template over a fire that's 14,000, and you kind of get the scope of what's going on. Well, the fires that we have going now, the Loyalton fire, that's 100% contained. That was south of us in Reno. The Slink fire, and Janice asked me a few minutes ago, she says, what are you smiling about? Well, I just kind of perused it. Instead of seeing Slink fire, I saw Stink fire. And I go, wait a minute, that's not right. The Slink fire, as of 1 day ago, was 21,000 acres and is only 36% contained. Now, those are the ones that are close to us. Now, California wildland fires have burnt a record number this year. 2 million acres of land have been burnt.
Wow.
Now, that hasn't happened in over 33 years. And the closest they came was in 87 when they had 1.96 acres. So, we're way ahead of the power curve. And the terrible thing about it, we're not in fire season yet.
I know.
We get to fire season in October and November when we get the Santa Ana winds. And what have we talked about prior to this?
Santa Ana winds being in Southern Cal.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah. Well, I believe here they might be called the devil winds because they're synonymous. But what they are is they're hot, dry winds blowing out of the north across wildland areas. And what does it do? It brings the fuel moisture down, and it's the things we've talked about in the past. it brings winds. And
I don't know how they can bring the moisture down anymore, right? I mean, I don't think Reno's got out of like single-digit humidity like in 3 months.
Well, you know, another thing that with the creek fire has gotten a lot of news because there were.
And where is the creek fire?
Oh, sure. It's
Sorry.
in California.
Oh well, there's a rough one.
It's close. No, it's close to Fresno.
Okay, that's what I couldn't remember.
Pretty
which
much
one that was.
Central California.
Gotcha.
And as of 9 a.m. this morning, it was 78,000 acres. So it's huge with no containment.
Right.
And so far it's burnt 45 single-family structures and over 20 minor structures. And this is another thing that kind of made me smile because it's such an anomaly. It says CAL FIRE in their most recent incident update of the Creek Fire included a date of expected full containment.
They have that now, I've noticed.
October 15th.
Oh, my Lord.
That's 45 days from now.
Wow.
So that gives you... Now, what also makes the Creek Fire notable is there was 200 people trapped at a camping site, and they had to be airlifted. And it's the one thing good about the fire service is that all the municipal agencies pitch in to help, in which... everything I've read, from the Marines to all of the municipal... all the municipal fire departments that have helicopters rush to save those people. So I mean, and they did indeed do that. It was
That's
reported.
Awesome.
It was
really
reported
awesome.
that one person was killed, but then later they rejected. They said, no, that wasn't right. It's amazing how fast these fires grow. It's incredible. So one of the things that we need to talk about that just boils my blood every time I hear it, and unfortunately I can't tie it to a fire because I heard it on the news and I investigated it this morning and I couldn't come up with it. But basically it said everybody wants to know, well, how did this fire start? Well, most of them will say, well, it's under investigation or it was lightning. But this one, they knew how it started. And it was some guy that was out with a smoke machine making smoke. For whatever reason, I don't know. But it
making smoke?
Making smoke, yeah, from a smoke machine. So,
Okay.
okay. Now, wouldn't you say that's stupid? Okay, all right. Well, all right. So,
those gender choice. They said now those gender choice things are really starting lots of fires.
Yeah.
So, what does an overzealous prosecutor do?
Gender reveal.
They're going to prosecute this guy to the full extent of the law. They're going to penalize him, and they are going to assess all of the costs of the fire to him. That just boils my blood because what they're saying is, well, first off, with a comment like that, what it does is when people hear that, they say, if I have a fire, I mean, this guy's stupid, right? But it's an accident.
Right.
Pure and simple. I mean, he wasn't using all of his gray matter. So when you hear things like that, what that signals people is, oh my gosh, if a fire starts, I'm going to try to put it out first because I don't want to be put in that. So, well, that's why.
Do you really think people go there immediately
Some
like
might,
that?
Some might.
What?
Yeah.
My brain doesn't work that way.
Define that a little bit. You don't think people try to put their own fire out?
No, I think they do just because they try to do the right thing and get it out and not have to call people. I don't think it's a plan.
Well,
we're going to try to put it out. And
well,
then we'll call
Ed,
the cop,
you know
right?
what? That's exactly what I'm talking about. But when you talk about prosecuting people, that brings it to the fore in their mind. So what we ought to do, if they're going to start prosecuting people, take all the red lights and sirens off of the fire engines, because what you're saying, it really doesn't matter when you report it.
So, and let's talk about that.
One second. April, did you want to say something?
I kind of forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. Sorry.
So I was going to say, like the Slink fire, right? They've protected whatever that town, Colville, right? But best I know, there's nothing out there, so they're just letting the sucker burn. right? There's nothing out all the way to Yosemite.
No, I would hate to be on a management team and say, what's your objective? Well, we're going to let it burn.
So when you have 500 fires in the state of California, how can they can't contain every one of them?
Yes, they can.
Doesn't look like it.
Well,
doesn't
I'll tell you
like
what.
it.
Here's a little note that I highlighted that I didn't get to. 14,100 firefighters are reported battling 24 large fires in California. So no, they do assign people to it. But Ed, you don't know how correct you really are, because years ago when Yellowstone burned, what they found out is that years prior to the Yellowstone fire, every fire that was reported they tried to put out.
Right.
Well, fire is a benefit to nature. Well, we were going in and we were putting these out. So consequently, everything was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So then they adopted a philosophy, let it burn.
Right.
Well, what happened is it got out of hand, and they ended up with the Yellowstone fire that just absolutely devastated. But 20 years later, and this is one of the things that you teach young firefighters, Yellowstone is back. If you get killed in a wildland fire, you're not coming back. But the nature will bring the flora and the fauna back. So, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You heard it from Mr. Fire himself.
Mr. Fire, that's...
Well, we sure talked about a lot of things. The moral of the story is, when we get the first rains, which happens here in Reno, I've actually stopped and watched a fire that actually burned houses. When you would look to the south and it was burning homes, you look to the north and a snowstorm was coming in. And the two were going to meet. And they literally met within hours and it put the fire out. So we think we're so omnipotent and we're so powerful. We're nothing compared to nature.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
That is the word of the day, right? We're nothing compared to nature. All right. I would agree with that. Well, but we are going to talk more about perspective and point of view and what's the difference in life. We talked about it in publishing and how perspective and point of view are treated. And so next segment, we're going to talk about how it pertains to our lives. And I'm going to hand that one off to Ed, and he's going to share some stuff with us. And I'm sure that Doug, and if April's around, she'll jump in too. And of course, I always have an opinion. I always have a perspective or a point of view. One of the two, right?
Only people with a clue have those.
No, that's not true. A lot of people have a viewpoint and have no clue.
Right, but they didn't have a point of view. But you're right. No one's wrong on perspective.
Yeah, that's true.
No, you're right. Oh, my. This is getting convoluted. All right. You are listening to What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson. We're here every Tuesday. We are going to be back. We're going to talk some more. And we still have story time coming up. We'll be right back.
Call Sursec Dental because you're worth it. They can make your smile perfect. You're gonna love your new smile. Sursec Dental for a perfect smile. Sursec Dental has a $125 special that includes a cleaning, x-rays, a free Sonicare toothbrush, and a free cosmetic makeover consultation. Sursec Dental for a perfect Call 827-1113.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
911, what is your emergency? My kid shot himself. All right, where's the wound, sir?
911, what's your emergency?
Please help. My son shot his brother.
911, what is your emergency?
Okay.
911, please state your emergency.
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns.
It wasn't locked. It wasn't locked.
Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Wake up, the sun below. Got another road to sow. Let the fire feel the hope swelling up from the depths of my soul.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story. We are talking perspective today, perspective and point of view. And April, I'm so glad to see you kind of were able to hang in with us for a little bit.
That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you. When I get organized, I can do it.
Yeah, well, maybe one of these days you can get in here and have a lemon popper.
You know what? I cannot wait to come in. I'm looking forward to that too.
Us too. We can't wait to have you here.
Yeah, we
keeping
miss
the
seat warm for her.
Well, I was going to say, no one's clothes has been ripped off in the seat since you don't come in. We don't have any like clothing malfunctions or anything.
That's right.
I don't have them at home either.
Oh my goodness. Yes, we do miss those perspectives.
Yes, we do. Yes, we
But
do.
I was just prone to say any old thing.
All right. Well, so I'm going to hand this one off to Ed. He always has interesting perspectives and points of view. And we're going to talk about this as it pertains to your life and our lives in general, as opposed to taking that perspective and point of view from a publishing perspective. Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna
too many
say-
perspective words.
I was going to say, I'm going to look at what I see is the landscape in our country now, and it's urban and rural. And rural is more, family unit, husband, wife, kids, oftentimes growing up, rural upbringing, maybe.
So you're talking totally
nuclear
perspective,
nuclear family kind of perspective, things that, hey, I help myself, personal responsibility, we have roads but mass transit we don't use, those kind of things, where in the city it's like living in a big HOA. You pay taxes and you got a bus, you pay taxes, you got a subway, you got parks, but you're not personally responsible for anything. Where, like me at my house, who's cutting the wood to put in my stove to heat my place? It's me, Everything is around my responsibility. It's my responsibility to feed my son, take care of my space, In cities, they don't have spaces, They have a place they live, but they don't have stuff they call their own, and they don't have personal responsibility. And so I see that the perspective of those folks is what I'd call whacked, because it differs from mine so greatly. But I grew up rural, relatively poor, in that other personal responsibility space, and my perspective is nothing like people who live in cities. And I think that city rural kind of perspective is defining our political parties, is defining a lot of stuff right now. So that's kind of my core right there, is not kind of red and blue, but rural urban.
Okay, but I think it's valid.
Well, but I have to take issue with the fact. I think there's people in Chicago and New York, and they live in a high-rise building, and they have their space. That's their home and their family. They think about it just the same as you do.
No chance.
Oh, absolutely not. How could they?
Yeah.
How could they?
And where are they from, right?
Well, let him answer. How could they look at it the same way he does? He's
because
in
family.
rural.
Wait a
he's
minute.
in
Well,
rural America.
Well, I guess you have to define what's a family, right?
No.
If they have a loving mother and father, or a loving father, or a loving mother, or whatever, the kids go to school, they come home, they get lunch, they go get tucked in at night. They're loved. Isn't that a family?
Oh, it totally is a family, but
okay, so how does that differ?
So their perspective is they may not have a car, right?
Well,
they may walk to get a bus, right? What kind of things do they have to do around the house, right? Are they feeding animals? Are they milking cows? Do they have dogs and cats?
So does milking a cow make a family?
So personal responsibility is a difference, right? And milking a cow can be personal responsibility.
I think that his example of, I think he set it up with the example of when you live in the city, you pretty much, you're taking maybe the subway or a bus or whatever to, you're taking public transportation versus when you're in the country, you're walking, you're biking, you're having to have a vehicle of some sort to get you from point A to point B. Very personal responsibility-ish, where in the city it's more driven.
You just show up at the stop.
Right.
No, I agree with all of that, but that doesn't define a family.
But there's more to it than just family. There's more to it than, because what about, there is. Because,
I agree with that, sure.
Yeah, there's more to
So
that
did your
whole-
kids have chores growing up?
Did they? Do they? You mean chores they don't do?
Well, right,
Well,
right.
no kid does their chores. Are you kidding? That's the first thing you figure
but
out.
you're, like my son's chores are like, cutting wood, right, mowing grass, doing things outside around the house. Those folks don't have an outside around the house. They got no chores except making their bed. That's a different space. They think different than someone who has to feed or milk a cow or...
Oh, I don't disagree with anything.
But that's all it is just the different perspectives have widened and...
But I think to say one doesn't have a family and the other does, I think is misguided.
I don't think
I said that.
I don't think
that's
he
what
said
I heard.
No, I was just talking about their perspectives and their views being different, and that's how the lines of this country have really separated. And I think if you look at other,
let's talk a little bit about, say, Southern California, where they have space. They have a garden, they have a lawn to mow, but every kid gets a trophy. You think that taints them a little?
So, right, Orange County's a big space, right? That's bigger than most countries, right? So what part are you talking about? Lakeside outside San Diego that's rural, kind of like I went to school at Bethel, Ohio, or are you talking about Carlsbad, right? And the big city money stuff, right? So the people that live in Lakeside out towards Riverside and up 15 towards Palm Springs are more rural and act that way. And in fact, Orange County is a really personal responsibility space.
Okay, how does somebody's responsibility rack up with Virginia Lake?
So best I know, no one's taken personal claim except the dude who founded it, right? He's long dead. The city's trying to resurrect it, and April's helping, but the water still sucks. So that's my
April,
size.
you got to jump in on this, April.
Are you still there?
I am still here. I have a lot of different thoughts going on. So I don't know what is this versus city dwellers versus country dwellers. I remember reading something that was kind of funny, but these kids that were raised in a city had never seen a chicken, and when they were asked to draw a chicken, they drew it with 4 legs. And they didn't get a coyote right. They didn't know what a coyote was. And Well, I was in Yosemite one time, and a coyote ran down the pathway, and a kid called it something crazy, like a bear, or he didn't even know what it was. And so I thought, well, that kid's from a city. So,
Well, right. They don't have that perspective, not to mention...
Didn't they get that little kid's book on farm animals?
Well, they don't know where food comes
like
from.
There's something missing. There's like they're not getting taught.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's a perspective difference than rural folks. City folks, right? City kids, even my son's like, really? Right? You know, meat processing plants and the like, right? Where farms, where our food comes from. Most people don't even like bones because they don't want to know they're eating an animal.
I don't like to see it. I was at Costco and I was fascinated by the seafood section. They had a whole fish and crabs and all kinds of exciting stuff there. And I said, Paul, you got to see all this stuff. It's amazing. And then I was like, oh, I feel kind of sad because this big whole fish just
well, that's what we eat.
Yeah, that's what we eat. That's what.
Yeah, so we really need to know what it is what these things are. I think it's really important to educate the kids.
But I think you just made
my point is when you grow up rural, you know all those things.
Right.
That's part of your life.
And you
know,
don't
Green Acres,
know, yeah, but you don't know when you go to the city about some of the things you're going to encounter in the way of people, relationships,
bus etiquette, subway etiquette, right? All those things.
Yes,
I totally agree with you.
You're totally at a disadvantage there as well.
Yes.
So both sides, and I mean, you could equate this to a political conversation if you wanted to, but both sides in this conversation have definite disadvantages. Both do.
Yeah,
in different ways.
We have freeway etiquette, not subway etiquette.
Right, exactly.
Well, and guess what? And they go, what? They spend all that tax money on those freeways. I don't even have a car.
Yeah.
You're wasting money.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, we're going, what do you need a subway for?
Right.
Right. You're wasting money. So both have cases, but their perspectives are way different.
Right.
Well, and we actually have freeways, and other parts of the country have tollways.
Right. Exactly.
I didn't know that. So.
Yeah. I mean, until you've been out and about for a while, it takes a while to figure all this stuff out, which is why I think when I hear that our government is having decisions made by 20-year-olds or 25-year-olds, I think we got a little problem there because they.
But does she know what a chicken looks like?
Yeah.
Does it go back to common sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, best I know, our elected officials have to be like 75 or you can't be elected. Right? I mean,
but they're always saying, "Oh, we have to let the young people," and I agree with that, 100%. I do. But you also have to give guidance. So I think that there needs to be some balance in everything.
Well, you know, the
do.
founding fathers put an age limit on what you could be for president.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, even in our Congress, there's age limits.
And it's amazing that they still hold up 250 years later. The ages do.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it is pretty incredible. All right, we're going to come back and we're going to do some story time. I'm not sure what we're going to talk about then, but we'll see. We'll come up with something. We'll come up with some stories. We'll be right back. This is What's the Story?
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Patterson. I'm the founder and owner of Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists. At Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists, we take a comprehensive approach to treating patients with chronic pain in the greater Reno, Tahoe area. We believe in the biopsychosocial model. This means we use multiple disciplines such as massage therapy, physical therapy, behavioral health, and medical treatments to treat your chronic pain. A plan of care is tailor-made for each individual patient. We always recommend conservative care first, but offer minimally invasive treatments when necessary. We are your one-stop shop. If it hurts, we can help. We pride ourselves in providing passionate care and making you feel welcome and understood. We are located in Reno and in Sparks, so give us a call to schedule a new patient consult at 284-8650. Again, that's 284-8650. Or visit our website at nvadvancedpain.com. We hope you choose Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists to be your center for injury rehabilitation. nvadvancedpain.com, 284-8650.
Hi, this is Eddie Floyd. Let me tell you about my favorite non-profit public charity, Wainema Wild Horse Sanctuary, located on the Forsyth Ranch in Hallelujah Junction area. And please go to www.wainemaranch.com. That's WYNEMA ranch.com.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Imagine being fired because of who you love. Imagine being denied medical treatment because of who you marry. Imagine being evicted because of who you are. Millions of Americans don't have to imagine this. They have to live it. Because in 31 states, it's legal to discriminate against LGBT people. Get the facts at beyondido.org. Brought to you by the Gill Foundation and the Ad Council.
This overload. Shannon Lawson here. Join us for the Nevada Radio Roundup, Fridays at 2 p.m. A good news variety show all about the local scene. The Nevada Roundup, Friday at 2.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
Welcome back. This is What's the Story? I'm Janice Hermson. And Ed Knoll just gave us a great analogy about perspective and kind of how in life, how people growing up in different areas can really come out of that with really extremely different perspectives. And maybe if you apply that to what's going on today, you can kind of see where we are politically as well and kind of make those analogies. So.
Well, I had thought about it, but this pretty much blends in, as that's why we have the Electoral College.
Right.
Because the coasts, East and West Coast, has the vast bulk of populations. So
I really wish that they would explain that in schools. I know growing up that I had no understanding of the Electoral College, and I was very confused. I hate to even admit this, but I was so confused about, they would say we're a democracy, then they'd say we're a republic, and I was like, what are they talking about? How can we be both, right? Yeah. I mean, I just really didn't get it. And of course, you don't raise your hand and ask that question, right?
That's true.
I didn't raise my hand.
I had a government class, but can't say that I really understood it either.
Yeah, it was one of those things. So then you go out in the world and you're 18 and they say, now you can vote.
Yeah.
And I will never forget, and you guys are probably sick of hearing me, but that I was at a telephone company applying for a job. I was 18 years old, and there was an article about the Electoral College, and I was just adamant about how stupid the Electoral College was.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, why don't we get rid of this? So when I hear people today doing the same thing, I think, wow, we haven't learned a thing.
Yeah.
Because I do understand it now, and I do agree that we need it.
So don't you see that you're a leader, that you were already where they were? And they should look to you for guidance.
Yeah, okay.
Because you've been there. No, it's fact.
Changed your life experience.
Oh, it did.
Changed your perspective.
Well, and then trying to understand it, because I really did feel strongly that it should be gone. And so I read up on it, and then I started to grasp a little bit better as time went on, and as I got older, and I voted more, and but it took time for me to figure it out, because there was nobody there to guide me. There was nobody there to say, hey, here's why it's important, and we didn't get that in our education process, and I think that's a shame.
It's interesting because, like they say, most issues, where you stand on something depends on where you sit, and you look at the people that want to abolish that system. Well, sure, that's because the coasts are filled with
Well,
people,
yeah, they're looking at their own,
exactly.
But I will say, having had that perspective, I didn't feel that way. It had nothing to do with party.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying to you, that
Things
there are
have
a lot.
changed since then,
No, but I think that there are a lot of people like me.
Oh,
That just
absolutely.
come out of school. I get to vote. How come I'm doing this, and how come I don't get to have a say? What's my vote worth?
Yeah.
Those were my words.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that some of these are definitely very partisan people. They're very, either left-leaning or maybe even right-leaning. You never know these days.
So
And they don't understand why it's there. And it doesn't have to do with party. It has to do with, I want my vote to count, right? That's what I said. I want my vote to count, and it doesn't.
Well, yeah.
So, and I know it does. I'm not saying that I think that today, but I'm giving you the perspective that I had at the time, which was, darn it, I waited. I just turned 18 and I can't wait.
Yeah.
And then there I was thinking that my vote didn't count. So I think that we need to remember that not everybody is a lefty or a righty when they say those things. It's really got to do with maybe they really care. And
Right.
they really,
I just got lucky, right? Thomas Jefferson didn't like cities or big states, right? So anyway, that just aligned with me.
Right.
Doesn't it show how intelligent our founding fathers were for 244 years ago to put in place a system that works so well today?
Scott Adams would say they're damn lucky.
Well, the old adage.
Right.
I would rather be lucky than good.
Right.
So
No, that's his making magic is luck.
Right. So I did, I said before the break that I didn't really know what my story was going to be, and I remembered that I did pick up some stuff that I wanted to talk about, and I always try and pick something that's a little bit lighthearted, not real dramatic, and, harsh, that we can end on a little bit of a high note. And I found we haven't talked, now that Brian has not been on, Brian T. Shirley used to do his segment, and since he hasn't been on, we haven't talked about films at all. So I wanted to talk about, I picked up the top 30 films based on a true story about musicians. And so I looked for some that were real current. In the top 30, there are none real current, but within the last 15 years, there are a few, and a lot of them you can see on, if you have Prime Video, or you can watch on like Stars. And so, and I'm going to post this to the What's the Story page, but I thought I'd talk about a couple of them that might be of interest, and do the ones that, like I say, are within the last 15 years. Lots of them from the 80s and the 90s. How about Love and Mercy? It was done in 2014. In the 60s, the Beach Boys leader Brian Wilson struggles with emerging psychosis as he attempts to craft his avant-garde pop masterpiece. In the 80s, he is a broken, confused man under 24-hour watch of shady therapist Dr. Eugene Landy. I don't know that I knew that story. Did you?
That is a great movie.
Is it?
Yes, Paul and I liked it, and it gave Paul a fresh perspective on the Beach Boys. And
I don't think I knew that story.
It motivated him to listen to that album, The Pet Sounds, and to really take into consideration the genius of his musicality.
That's neat. Yeah, so it's called Love and Mercy. It was done in 2014, and you can watch it on Prime Video. And I'm not a proponent of Prime Video or anything like that, but I do find it to be nice to be able to get those kinds of things, and especially right now since movies aren't.
What was the name of it
I think
again?
I want to watch that one again. Thanks for the
You're welcome. Love and Mercy. And it was done in 2014. It's rated PG-13, even better. So, because those kinds of movies.
John Cusack is playing Mike Love.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Bohemian Rhapsody, I was going to say.
That was so
I hear
good.
it's really terrific. It's on my list.
Oh, man, it's good. It's worth it.
I heard it.
Definitely.
Of course,
worth
that
it.
guy from American Idol, right? Who's paying Freddie Mercury.
Right.
Aaron.
I don't remember his name either, but
I
yeah,
forget, but he's an excellent.
Good.
He's made for that part.
Yeah, it was so good. It was really a good movie. And I'm not a huge moviegoer, but
Adam Lambert. Adam
There you
Lambert's
go.
his name.
You got it. All right, here we go.
Yeah, I meant to say he played Brian Wilson.
Yes, I knew what
John
you meant.
Cusack. Not.
That's all right.
I haven't seen the Bohemian Rhapsody, but I do like Queen as a group.
Yes.
But I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that movie, but.
Well, I enjoyed it. My sister and I saw it, so. I'm Not There is one, 2007, and it is not rated, so I don't know, everything about it, but ruminations on the life of Bob Dylan, where 6 characters embody a different aspect of the musician's life and work. Oh, that would be interesting. 6 different characters.
It could be interesting, or it could be bad. I think
It was rated 6.9 by the people that watched it. There were 55,000 votes.
Oh, jeez. A small sampling, huh?
So I bet his life's very fascinating. I think he's likely a very interesting guy. I just don't know if I'd enjoy that way.
Maybe he's like 6 different or 7 different characters, right?
Well,
6.
aren't we all?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I got that many characters in me.
I might.
You might.
Have we seen,
I would have to agree with that.
Have we seen The Dark Side yet?
I don't know.
Apparently, I did, and I didn't know it for a few weeks ago.
That's right.
I didn't even know it. So
see, my dark side's kind of like neutral.
Apparently so. Okay, so this, I'm not sure that this is about. Okay, Dreamgirls. It's rated 6.5. Oh, okay. A trio of black female soul singers cross over to the pop charts in the early 60s, facing their own personal struggles along the way. And these are true stories. So, as much as, we all know true is, all in the eyes of the beholder, right? But
in the eyes of the writer.
That's right. But I thought that sounded kind of interesting too.
It's very good.
You've seen it?
I'm just surprised it's rated less than Bob Dylan's.
Yeah. How about this one? Straight Outta Compton, 2015. The rap group NWA emerges from the mean streets of Compton in Los Angeles, California in the mid-'80s and revolutionizes hip-hop culture with their music and tales about the life in the hood. I think that would be interesting to watch.
That's an edgier one.
Yeah, but I think it would be interesting because it's not something that you're familiar with, and yet I obviously know where Compton is.
Well, and I was living in LA then.
Yeah, I know Compton, so
I do too.
I think it would be interesting from that perspective. Had to throw that in to see.
That might be the wrong viewpoint.
Oh, it could be.
Can I tell you one that I really like?
Yes.
Music.
Yeah, you got a little less than a minute.
I'll go so fast. Echo in the Canyon, and it's a look at how musical groups like the Byrds, the Beach Boys, Buffalo, Springfield, Mamas and the Papas started in the Laurel Canyon. So
I like that.
Check it out. It's fantastic. Echo in the Canyon.
Excellent. Well, I think that was a great way to end our show, and I'm glad that you guys can be here every week and
this has been fun, hasn't it?
Fun. Yeah,
today was real.
This has been sensational.
The show is beyond entertaining. And
well,
fun.
and I am going to start to try and clip some of these and do some shorter segments. So, like this one, put it on YouTube for us. The whole show's on there, but I'm going to pull some clips out and share some of the, fun stuff.
It's a really good thing you guys all have a clue.
Yeah, isn't that nice? All right, be with us next week. I'll be on at 3 o'clock with Pinch of Basil, and then What's the Story follows it. So stay for the whole 3 hours. We'll be back next week.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. I help people solve difficult and trying personal problems every day on my TV show, but there's one problem that's just got me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it.